For anyone who is unfamiliar with the seminars, they're basically big group discussion where high elo Kha'Zix players can discuss what's good, what's viable, cover different playstyles around Kha'Zix. Anyone who's a Kha'Zix god or higher can be unmuted, and if you'd like to be unmuted, just ask your question in Kha'Zix discussion, and ping me or Tingis or Mark, and we'll cover it at the end and unmute you. But yeah, that should be pretty much it. We can start on runes and kind of go from there. I don't know if you guys have opinions on Phase Rush, but that got buffed this patch to be 30 to 50 movement speed on melees to 40 to 60. So a lot of people are using it now and talking about its viability. Does anyone want to have any like initial thoughts on Phase Rush and if it's decent or viable? Who wants to start?
Conqueror.
Dark Harvest.
Do we have anyone who's actually using Phase Rush right now? I know the two Koreans are.
Specky, but he plays on top.
True.
Oh my god, I watch his games, like all the games start with like 0-4 and then I tune in like 15 minutes, then he's like 9-4 and I'm like, what the fuck? How?
Actually, me, IO.
Yeah. Tingis, you've been using Phase Rush a decent amount before Halo Blades. Do you think it's better now or more?
I have, yeah. Man, that buff is super nice. It really is. It got the buff it deserved, really.
Do you think it's good enough
to be honest,
like standard?
it feels very similar to the speed you got from Storm Raiders. Like, it's that good. It's just, I don't know, it just feels so clean to use. And it's fairly easy to proc now as well, because they increased the window of the time you have to get like the 3 attacks off. So yeah, it's super nice. And if you like Phase, then you can definitely just run it like every game, I think.
Sure. What do you think is like the standard go-to evolution path for it? Do you think it's like the same as regular Kha'Zix?
I think it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I like R with it, but Q is also super nice. Like, it literally doesn't matter. The Keystone is so flexible right now. And yeah.
Do you think it's an issue to give up too much damage, or do you think it's worth?
Hell no! God damn! What the hell?
Okay.
What are you gonna take? Electrocute? Give me a break.
Fair. Does anyone else have any opinions on Phase Rush Light? I know you've used it a lot. Other Light.
It's pretty fucking good right now. Like, no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to
any
say.
other thoughts to expand on that?
I mean, if we are talking about like top lane specifically, I'd say it's way better than choosing Carmen.
Sure. Is there any matchups that are like where Phase Rush really shines? Would you say?
Well, in general, like ranged matchups are pretty good, and anything you cannot really fight because you can literally just pull up your burst and run away because they can't fucking get you.
Sure.
And you just trade with that, and it works.
That's fair.
Could be good against Echo as well, because when he procs his passive, he like runs really fast.
Yep.
So it's probably good into Echo like Kindred, Elise, those.
Mm-hmm. And I guess we can move on to Conquer. Does anyone have any strong opinions?
I
on Conquer?
played Phase Rush 2 times.
Oh, you don't like Phase? Or do
No,
you like it, Rob?
it's so good. It's really good if you want to lose the lane early in top lane where you should win the lane, and then but it's okay because you start winning the lane later where you would have already won the lane if you had a damage rune.
What about jungle?
It looks like fun
Okay.
in jungle. I'm gonna say it's real fun.
Okay.
It's-
Does anyone still main Conquer?
Yeah, I play Conquer only.
Okay. What is your opinions on Conquer now?
You pretty much take in every matchup. Otherwise, you get outscaled.
What the fuck?
And yeah, like you can it's super flexible and it allows you to do a lot of damage. The only issue is like ganking. It's you're kind of weak like when you do ganks, But if this gank turns into like 2v2 skirmish, you win it most of the times because you just have.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ken, you've been running Conquer now like exclusively as well.
Yes,
I
because
think.
early game, right? You like try to 2v2, and sometimes you need. Oh wait a second. Sometimes you need you need like a lot of damage, and you get it from Conqueror because you get AD, you know. And so sometimes the fight in early game is very long, so you need the AD. You get like 15 AD if it's on 10 sticks, and it's really broken.
That's cool. Yeah, you can like flex your builds as well while running Conqueror. You can go Lethality, like if you just start snowballing, but I think the safest build path with Conqueror is like Black Cleaver first, because I think like Black Cleaver is probably the best item for Kha'Zix. Like by far, like best item on Kha'Zix. Like you get that CDR and like the evolutions with Conqueror are always like second evolution W. Like you have to go W always second. And depending on like the first one, doesn't really matter. Like R or Q. Like if they have like bruisers and they don't have that much CC on the team, you can always go like Q, or if you're like gonna be focusing on like objectives or like skirmishes like 1v1, 2v2s, Q is better. But if you're like focusing on like ganking and like going for like the squishies in the backline, you should probably go R Evolve. And with Conquer it's like good. Like you don't have to like burst enemies, like you just need to be like annoying in the fight. But like I'd say this rune is like better for like higher elos where the team comps are more like team fight based, because right now the current meta is more about like team comps. Like you have like frontliners always, you have like hyper carries in the backline, and I don't know, like if you run like full Lethality Kha'Zix, like I don't think you can get too far in like the ladder. I think at least that's like EUS ladder, I think. I don't know.
Would you say
Please,
like
that's
E is generally a lower priority on the evolve list? Like, do you evolve E often on Conquer?
No, I don't think like E is like the most useless evolution at the minute for this meta specifically. I don't think it's good. Like, I mean, it's like it's good if you're like snowballing, but like the game is like decided in the team fights most of the time. So I don't know. I don't know. Tanu
like
goes for Lethality. Tanu dual Qs every game, and he plays Karthus more. Like his wins are on Karthus more. I mean, yeah, he's a good player though. So,
let's see. Do you
this
think,
is like if you I'm sorry. This is if you like go like if you just one trick Kha'Zix, because right now Kha'Zix, if you like playing Kha'Zix like old school, like OG, like full one shot, like Q jump in, like get a kill, jump out. You can still do that into like more squishy comps, but I don't think you would like ever go like evolve second into like, let's say like I don't know, set top lane or Maokai top lane, or I don't know, like 'cause I don't know. I feel like everything right now is just like tank support, tank top laner, like a bruiser jungler. Like how do you deal with Zac if you go evo? Like what? You're so useless. Like, I don't know. It's like there's literally like 3 tanks. Like you verse 3 or 2 tanks every single game, and then you have like I don't know, like a Senna, Senna ADC, or like you don't even have like an ADC. They have like Syndra or something, and then the mid laner is something like Silas, and you're like, oh yeah, dude, I can definitely like jump in and one shot people for sure. I'm so useful. Look at me, I have electrocutor.
fair.
It's not about like one shot. It's more about like a bruiser playstyle Kha'Zix in the current meta, at least in my opinion. But at least I've been finding success by playing bruiser mostly. I don't like every time I go electrocute is either if I'm versing like a full squishy comp, or if I just like I don't know, if I'll be like ganking bot only. I don't know, because you need to like snowball if you're running those runes. And Kha'Zix like pretty much loses every single early game matchup at the minute. Someone's linking my account. I just DK'd one of my accounts. Come on.
Does anyone else have any other Conquer opinions that weren't covered? 'Cause I know Gamer Girl said a lot on it.
Very good rune, would recommend.
It is the meta right now.
It's pretty much like the best rune in the game, like in general. Like
Yeah, it's just
it's so overpowered.
yeah,
it's
big
like
battle
you,
phase,
like
rush
you
fucking
either join him or you just like stay diamond. You know, like I don't know.
Yeah, even without the true damage, just having the extra magic damage and the healing seems enough. Yeah,
It's
is
just
there like
so good. Yeah.
is Death Dance good with it in general? I see some people using Death Dance like later on in the build.
I don't think it's like if you go Conquer, you have to go Death Dance. But I mean, like Death Dance is a good item still. It's got probably honestly a better synergy with itself than it had before because you get armor and MR on top of its passive. But it's like it's better than it was before. But I don't think you have to go Death Dance. Like you can still go Lethality. You have to play early game fights slightly slower, but like mid to late game, you're still going to be one-shotting squishies, and you're still going to be dueling pretty well because of Conquer, even if you don't have a duelist/bruiser build.
For sure. Ken, do you have any thoughts on where Conquer is the strongest? Do you think it's the best early, mid, or late? Or what is your thoughts?
I think it's okay in every situation. Like you need early, you need AD, okay? So, but in late game, you go like I go Black Cleaver and Death Stance, and it's really good because you survive a lot. And I most likely use R Evolve first, so I can and W second, so I can like poke them in the team fights, you know, and I get my Conqueror stacks like that.
I agree with this guy. Yeah. W is really
so I
good
think
for
it's
everything.
okay in every situation.
W is like the most W Evolve is probably the most broken ability in the entire game after like Yasuo or like Zoe Bubble. It's like so broken. Like you can do so much stuff with W Evolve. It's like 95% better than evolving
true.
E. It's so like you can like kite, you can like poke, you can just chase people, you can just I don't know. Like have you guys been like ever like enemy team is like pushing mid and you're just behind them cutting the wave. You cut the wave and you just like they're in the middle, like you're on the you're in the middle. No, you're not in the middle. So enemy team is in the middle pushing tier 3. Your team is just spawning and you're just poking them with W. Like I've won so many games just like doing this. It's so insane. Like I just poke them so they're pretty much stunned in the middle and my team is just throwing shit at them. It's like super free.
Sure.
I don't know.
We can go more in depth on evolutions like
Yeah,
later
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to that. Saber, I know you were using Conquer even recently. Is there any matchups do you think where it excels the most, or where another rune would be better?
The most with Conquer?
Yeah, like a really
Against-
good Conquer matchup or a bad one.
Yeah, against any like bruisers, like Olaf, Rek'Sai, both of them works well. But if you were playing against any like squishy champion like Elise, I still feel like Electrocute is a lot better versus Elise or like Kindred or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty OP.
Sure.
Take it, whatever.
Sure. Does anyone have any strong opinions on Electrocute to move on to that? Is it still decent? Is it still like reliable and safe? Or...
I
think
would
it's
like to
still
know, mate.
standard. It's still a good rune, but it's outclassed.
I know Tendris is a very big advocate for Electrocute.
I fucking heck no. Look. I know I meme about it and all that, but it's obviously it's like it's still a very like standard rune a lot of people take. But
It's
yeah,
very boring,
as someone just
though.
said then,
That is true.
yes,
It's very boring.
very boring.
Yep.
Nah, like it is outclassed, I think, right now by pretty much every rune in the game. To be honest, in my opinion,
Including Hail Blades.
including Hail. I actually, yeah, like I don't like the rune personally, but I know why people take it, and yeah, it's still like solid, just for that reliable burst.
Is anyone here like using Electrocute every game, or have any thoughts?
I
Why
used
they run
to I used to use it like 2 weeks ago. I've used it like the entire season, but I do think that something like Dark Harvest is just better. Like Electrocute is consistent early game to mid game, because even though if you fall behind, I know, but if you fall behind, compared to Dark Harvest, you will still have a Keystone early to mid game. And yeah, of course, Conquer is more reliable, but if you want to play Lethality Kha'Zix, I don't think Conquer really fits. And just for the consistency, I think Electrocute is the best, but it gets outclassed by both Conk and Dark Harvest.
Sure.
Especially late.
We can move on to something like Dark Harvest. I don't know if many people are using it currently, but I've seen a lot of people bring it up like time and time again. Whether
I think
it's like
is
being good at Smurf Rune or I don't know.
I think it's for the most part better than Electrocute, and that's mostly because of how you cast your spells as Ka, right? So if you were going for like a standard leap combo, or even just like a normal no leap combo, you would do like an auto QW, and that would normally get them down to like half health, depending on if they have armor or not. And against most champions, it takes at least 2 Qs to kill someone, for the most part, unless you're absurdly ahead, and you know, if they have armor or whatever. And Dark Harvest just helps with that. Like, Electrocute just is kind of redundant in that sense, because you're already just getting multiple Qs off to make up for that, like, 300 damage or something. So I think Dark Harvest is just like way more flexible, because you don't need to have like three autos or abilities to proc it, and you can snipe people with W with it and all that. Like, I just think it's way more flexible.
Do you think it makes E-Evolve just a more appealing option, just for the synergy of the resets, or do you think it doesn't?
I mean, you could say that, but again, you need to evolve E in the right situations. It doesn't matter if, like, what runes you have. If you're evolving it in the bad situation, then it's kind of lackluster.
Sure.
As someone said earlier, like, against 3 tanks. In this current meta, it's just tanks everywhere. You don't want to evolve E in that sense.
Ooh, Pixel Drum, you're here. Welcome.
What's up?
What keystone do you run in currently?
I only run Electrocute and Sorcery secondary. I don't really like Conquer.
Ooh, what makes you run just Electrocute only now?
Well, I was never a huge fan of the Conquer. However, pre-Conquer nerfs, I think it was alright, but right now it's just, it's kind of just like, how much extra damage are you actually getting off of Conquer 5?
It's not about the damage. Like, the damage is a bonus. Like, it's because the damage number that you see is not the damage that you're getting. So
it's the healing, and the healing I get is also like kind of low.
No, the healing, but it gives you AD. It can't track the damage you get from the AD.
Yeah, I know. Like,
that's honestly the bigger portion.
Sure.
I just find that getting the extra damage level 3 is like, or even just level 6. I mean, when does Conquer become more useful than Electrocute in trades? Probably like way later into games that end in like 26 minutes.
I know people give an argument for being good for long skirmishes early, like if there's a long level 1 team fight, or like 2v2, 3v3. It's decent if they go on a while.
It's hands down the best keystone for extended fights like that.
Yeah. Like
Nothing compares to
fights, 50-second fights where it's like, you know,
What the fuck fights are you having? 40, 50 seconds?
I was watching Jung stream way too much.
I just
Don't you guys also? Oh, sorry. Don't you guys also think that Conk is also good for going in without isolation? Because when you, for example, run like Electrocuted the Harvest, if you don't get isolation, it's gonna get like pretty messy because you miss out on the burst. But with Conk, you still have sustain damage, and you will get the sustain later on if you hit the 10 stacks. So it's more forgiving if you don't go in an isolation.
I think, yeah, you have a point. But I also think that every keystone has its sort of use against non-isolated targets. For example, like Phase Rush, you can just like run around them in stealth or kite away and stuff like that. But yeah, I do think Conqueror is like more flexible compared to the damaged focused keystones when you jump in against non-isolated targets, because obviously you get that like the AD bonus.
Can I just add something?
Sure.
Can we like just not forget that like Conqueror and like every other rune is like 2 different playstyles. Like Conqueror is more like team fight orientated. Like more like 1v1. Like you can't really like burst people with Conqueror like you used to do with like Electrocute or like Dark Harvest or whatever. Like Conqueror is more about like team fights. Like you want to do extended fights with this rune. Like you can't really like jump in and expect to burst people and jump out. So that's
you
like
can't be
two
running
different.
Conquer and play as if you're running Electrocute or vice
Yeah,
versa.
like this is only possible like if you're like ahead. Like if like you can if you like snowball with Conquer rune, you can always go like lethality items. But let's say if you're like not that ahead, like if you're like not even like even or like just like not behind, you can't really like one shot people, can you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, as someone who doesn't actually run a damage keystone, I would say that it doesn't really matter about the runes as long as you're jumping in at the right time. You can still like jump in with Conqueror. You just need to make sure you're doing it at the right, in the right situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you can't assassinate with Conqueror, and obviously everyone knows that, but you just got to be careful.
Yeah, definitely something to add to that is people who say like, oh, if I had X keystone in this situation, it would have worked. But a lot of the time, in a majority of situations, I've noticed people say that the keystone doesn't actually make a difference in a lot of instances. So it's more or less the way you play, like your decision making.
For the most part, it doesn't. It just kind of enables a different way to like achieve that outcome, I guess.
Yeah. We can move on to more of the secondary runes, which are hopefully be less debated topic, or maybe more. We'll see. But yeah, I wanted to get you guys' take on some of the secondary runes. We can start with domination secondary. What do you guys think of sudden impact versus cheap shot? Whoever wants to go first on that.
I don't see why you'd take shot.
Didn't you do the math on it once?
I always go cheap shot.
I never did the math on it, but
I know Ken does it, and now both the Koreans do it.
I'm actually, I'm really curious about cheap shot. Actually, if you would mind sharing some stuff about that.
Sure.
The damage is not that different, right? It's pretty similar.
I think something to add is like blue smite will give it slow and it'll cause like impaired movement. Your passive, like there's a lot of other things, like your teammates having more CC can all play a part.
W Evo early.
Yeah, W Evo slow.
And I'd actually say it's way better on lane, like compared to sudden impact.
Sure. Does anyone use cheap shot besides people who already spoke? Or have an opinion that is strong, or any opinion? Because I know consensus is usually sudden impact's better.
Never tried.
So I run cheap shot, but I think for lower elo there is another rune which gives you AD per kill. I think that's a good rune as well as secondary, if you run domination.
Why would you play that?
You have to run Ravenous Hunter, and
yes, that's what I'm running as well. I'm running those two if I'm playing like on Ravenous Hunter.
Sure. Speaking on Ravenous, does anyone have any thoughts on Ravenous versus Relentless? I know it's still like a decent amount of people who run Relentless, and a ton of people run Ravenous right now.
I mean, I can see why people take Relentless, but Ravenous has such a huge value, like,
yeah,
you just get so much fucking damn healing. I don't know why you would take it over that.
Yeah, I feel like
it's good for jungle. It's good for like clearing jungle. Like you don't really take it for like team fight and shit, because like it's just good for like, let's say you get chunked in a fight, then you run to a camp or like a wave and you just heal off of it. It's just so much better. Like you can join fight and you can like solo Drake. Like I don't know how you solo Drake with Relentless when you're on like 10% or like 20%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Ravenous is almost as good as like a primary rune, basically, like a keystone. It's stupid strong, especially when it gets stacked.
Sure.
The thing is, I still think it's purely preference. for Relentless versus Ravenous. It's just that Ravenous is so much easier to use and it feels like so nice because you just sustain so much.
It's visible
that
power versus invisible
people-
power.
Yeah, exactly. Like people can't like once you start using it and then you switch off to like Relentless, you're just like, oh man, I miss the healing so much. I want to go back to Ravenous, and that's like exactly what happened to me. I used to run Relentless like religiously when the new runes came out, and then I'm like, okay, everyone's going on about Ravenous, so I'm gonna try it out. And then I started using it, and it was like, Jesus, this rune is insane, and I can't switch back now. So yeah, it's just so much easier to use, and you know, busted to be honest.
Sure. I know, like, if you hit the Herald Eye, you get like 500 health for free.
Yeah, it's
things
nuts.
like that.
Yeah.
Which is pretty ridiculous.
It's also early game. One of the big things is like getting to a lane 0.1 seconds earlier because you have Ravenous or Relentless is not going to be as valuable because normally after first clear, because Talisman damage and Machete on hit damage also work for Ravenous and all that shit works for Ravenous. So by the time you're done with your first clear, you've already got like 100 Ravenous healing. And like, would you rather be in the lane 0.1 second earlier or have an extra refill potion charge on your first clear? I think that's also a big part, is just for the first clear alone, I think it's super, super valuable to have Ravenous just because it allows you to contest a lot more than if you had Relentless.
Yep.
Okay, who here runs attack speed runes instead of double adapted?
Oh yeah.
Ooh, you know, that's actually something I was trying like lately. I still stand by the fact that double AD is like significantly better.
Yeah, me
Agreed.
too.
Yeah,
I
for
agree.
sure.
Every single situation.
I like doing
I always go talisman and double adaptive every.
I like doing double adaptive with Alacrity, so I still feel like I have some.
Oh, I like her. He's so sick. Oh my god,
Yeah.
oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah,
Fuck
we'll touch
tenacity.
on
Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit.
I think I've been
Yes.
running the same rune setup
Oh my
for like
God.
2 seasons straight. It's, just Damir's rune setup, which
Yeah.
is you know,
He hasn't changed it in like 10 years, so.
I mean, absolute. in my opinion, absolute focus and gathering storm are like the most OP like masteries on Kha'Zix because his unisolated Q stacked so well. Like when you get to 20 minutes, that's 14 AD, but that's like a chunk of damage on Kha'Zix.
It's a big difference. Yeah.
That's like a 2 pickaxes. That's like a 2 longswords. So that's like 700 gold. So
I think those are the best smurfing runes. Like, and every time I smurf, I play those runes. Like, I think they're like the best scaling runes because every low elo game goes to like 20 minutes or more. So, yeah.
I agree.
People still take water walking or scorch in some situations, or no?
after the nerfs, man.
Scorch.
Scorch?
Rob Hockey's not here.
Scorch
It's
are
okay. We
actually
can call it
trolling.
trash. It's fine.
Rob Hockey's not here. It's okay.
That shit is garbage.
Yeah, let me take a rune that'll do 10 damage in a combo pre-mitigation. Fuck yeah. That's what I want my runes.
Ooh, sure. I know Zakilla has joined us. He's finally graced us, a little late, but wanted to get your opinion on Ravenous versus Relentless.
I think it's just mostly personal preference, but Relentless can be good. I mean, it is good. It's just it's like so much more value if you stack it early, and you can make more plays around the map early. So if you think you could stack it early, you should take it. And Ravenous is just like so good on Kha'Zix because the way his Q works, his Q damage on isolated targets. So I think it's just preference, but I think Relentless is stronger if you get early kills and can use it to impact the early game more.
Yeah. We're also mentioning some of the sorcery secondary and how gathering was kind of reliable, but you take water walking as far as I know. Do you have a good argument for water walking?
I just like the early game move speed in River. Like when Scuttle spawns, usually there's a fight over it. Yeah, usually. So like the extra stats and move speed is just really nice. That's why I take it. Gathering is way better late game, obviously, but I like to use it for the early game. Water walking.
Sure. For
Yeah, it's
some
better for high low, in my opinion. Yeah, Like that's like a rune that you would run when early game matters, and in high elo, like early game matters the most. So
Yeah.
Sure. For people who take Conquer or Precision Secondary, just in general, some of the minor runes, for Tenacity versus Alacrity, do you guys think it's like you always want to take one or the other, or is there situations where one's better?
I'd say it's situational.
Yeah, definitely. Like I like Alacrity a lot, but if you're gonna throw some CC I really need to avoid, or for shit like Lux, for example, if Lux throws a Q at you, you got Tenacity and Merc Treads, usually get out before her ult pops, kind of thing. But you're never ever gonna do that unless you have both. So like, if there's champions that I really want to avoid, I think Tenacity is fantastic.
For me, is I look at the team, I look at the enemy team, and I'd say before the game starts if I'm building Tabai this game or Merc Treads. And depending on my boots, like if I'm going like Tenacity boots 100%, there's no reason for me to go Alacrity because I don't want to overcap on like Tenacity. It's like useless to have like double Tenacity rune. So I just go Alacrity. But like if they have like, let's say 3 auto attack champions or like I don't know, assassins and shit that I need to go Tabai, I go Tenacity. And like if they have CC as well.
Yeah, like a Maokai would probably be decent.
Maokai is like bro and all that stupid shit. Fucking hate Zach, jeez.
True. I actually did get a question recently. People were asking if you always go cut down or coup de grace with the Conquer page or any precision.
I think coup de grace sucks.
Yeah, coup de grace sucks.
I think all of those are
Never
insane.
take it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, what do you take?
If I
just don't go precision.
True.
I
like
running
that
Conquer.
If I got
If you're running Conquer.
secondary, I'll take Triumph and Tenacity.
Yeah, Triumph is the only like decent one that I see everyone say from that.
What?
And it used to be so much better when Triumph gave you 50 gold.
Like
This other thing with the mana is better, so you can spam W mid game for team fights is good. What's it called?
Presence of Mind.
Presence of Mind. I think it's better. Like Triumph is like so useless, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Triumph is like good, I guess, to save you sometimes, but I don't know.
Sure.
I've been trying it recently, and I think it's really good. The extra mana, like you get so much mana refund. Like I looked at like a 20-minute game, and I had like 3,000 mana refund. And this also like increases your maximum mana, so I don't know, I think it's really nice.
Sure. Does anyone run Inspiration Secondary? I know there's a few people around.
I
Use it or try it.
I interchange it every now and then. I think it's.
I go Inspiration. I like the boots.
Me too. Me too, man.
Same here.
The boots are insane because, like, listen, guys, it gives you 420 gold. Like, and you get no shutdown gold. It's very good, man.
Why is it 420 gold? I don't understand.
It's very efficient.
You get like boots for 300, but it gives you only 25 move speed. And the boots which you get from Inspiration, what's it called? Yeah, right. Now. And the Magical Footwear, right? They give you 35. Very good. It's like it's 100 gold more, I think. 120, yes, something like that. I didn't do the maps.
Sure. And you guys, if you take Inspiration Secondary, do you usually go Cosmic Insight as like the only other one?
Yes, right.
Yeah.
They go like the cooldown reduction. It's really good on Kha'Zix.
Futures Market is also good as well for going for power spikes, but generally Cosmic is like super nice, especially if you run W Evolve avidly, or even R Evolve.
Yeah.
Like literally anything. It's a 45% CDR is super nice.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone else have any thoughts on Inspiration Secondary being decent?
It's alright.
It's nice because you can also just if you don't have Inspiration Secondary, you don't have the boots, then you have to spend the money. Usually, like you have to spend it after the jungle item or in between your jungle item, and now you can just focus on skipping it. You don't have to care about the boots. You can just rush your item faster and just have a faster power spike, I would say.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. Because if you finish the jungle item, you just have to get a huge power spike.
Yeah, pretty much Kha'Zix is like full build when you get like jungle item. Like you just can't die and you just kill everyone. It's super good.
Mm-hmm. For the attack speed chart, I have seen people say it's decent for the first clear. It like feels
No,
nice. Does
it's
anyone
not.
agree or disagree?
No, it's significant. It's slower. It's slower. 100%.
The attack speed
By the,
feels good, but I don't think it is good.
So it's more of a trap.
It feels like it's doing something, right? But it's not.
Yeah.
It's slower than double AD shards in every clear. I think the same goes for machete. Although I don't know why you'd take machete. But yeah, it's about like 5 to 10 seconds slower. I can't remember exactly, but
Sounds a bit much.
I think
usually-
machete
alright,
is like
5 seconds, probably.
Yeah.
I think
most
machete
champions-
is okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
I think for most champions, attack speed tends to be a little slower because you're auto attacking more, which means you're moving towards your next camp less. You're cutting a little less. At least if you're doing it optimally. So because you're stopping more, you're not going to be as close to your other camp, and that's what really slows you down. And that's the big thing for attack speed is that makes it slower. It feels really good to use because you're attacking more, but at the end of the day, it doesn't actually go faster.
The big thing with Kha'Zix in the attack speedrun is that you don't. It takes like an extra auto to kill the raptors and wolves, the smaller ones, so that can end up eating up a lot of your time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's bad enough to consider not taking it, but like double AD is significantly stronger early, and that's just in the jungle. Like if you go outside and you're like fighting, you're really gonna want that double AD. I don't know if it's just me, but like when I run the attack speed rune and I fight early game, just sitting on Hunter's Talisman, you feel so damn weak. Like it's not even funny.
Are we still talking about machete?
Oh yeah, machete, sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, taking machete, like starting machete first, is a bit of a gamble. The only reason I'd see you would ever start machete is if you want to like 3 camp into like counter gank on top lane or something like that, or like bot lane gank, something like early fight, because you want to be like, because there's no way you can match a Lee Sin clear or like a Karthus clear, or like a Olaf clear or like a Elise clear early game. That's why you want to like be faster than him. Like if you're certain that they're going for like a level 3 gank, that's I think the only way you would like consider taking machete. But again, it's still not worth it because there's like, how do you win Lee Sin Elise? Like early game level 3. Like I don't know.
I think machete will be better when they change the healing on it or whatever they're doing next patch.
Oh yeah.
I think it'll be better
Jungle
then.
again next patch.
Oh, that's good. Hopefully.
Wait, they're
I don't
changing
really
machete
read
next
patches.
patch? I thought they were just changing Talisman a little bit.
Nah, they're doing it to all the jungle items, I think.
Oh shit.
The Talisman one's not going to matter because it's only below 30% health, and that's
Yeah.
not really relevant, but...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the machete one is actually pretty decent.
Sure. Seems the consensus on like the minor runes is double adapt is generally better, or overall better objectively. But we haven't touched on the defensive shard. Does anyone not take armor in the flex for the bottom one?
0.
You are trolling, not taking armor. You are 100% trolling. You're a jungler.
Saber.
You
I
verse
take
attack
health.
damage monsters.
Wait, what?
Saber.
Oh, the HP. I like the HP
Take
one as
health,
well.
right?
What?
HP
Really?
is good.
HP?
Yes.
Any
Yeah.
rune is good. Like you don't really need armor. Like it's 5 armor anyway.
I think
You
it's
don't-
situational, no?
Situational,
Against
yeah.
income. Like if I'm running like triple AP, like, and I would go HP for sure. Like
Well, here's the thing. Because armor gives you... Like, since you're taking less damage from the camps, all of the amount that you're healing from your jungle item, your W, is basically multiplied by that armor that you're getting. So, on your first clear alone, the armor itself is going to be giving you 100, 150 plus HP versus the 20 HP you'd get from the health shard. So like just off of the first 5 minutes alone for your first and second clear, where you actually take damage from jungle monsters, I think armor is worth it in basically every game just for the first 5 minutes alone. That's my opinion on it, at least.
Sure. Does anyone else have an opinion?
I don't think it really makes that much of a difference because once you get to Scuttle, by the time you complete Scuttle, you're full HP most of the time, I think, right? Unless you get early invaded, then yeah, then it matters. But by the time you path the Scuttle and you do Scuttle, I think you're full HP, or at least like near full HP.
Yeah, but what if you have to fight, at Scuttle or gank or something? It's kind of like less. I don't know. I think it's less reliable than not taking it personally.
Yeah, for that situation, yeah, I think it sucks. Which honestly, I think it is just safer taking the armor then. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more just consistency. Armor will always be good for your early game. Health will only be good if you are not fighting early, which is not something you can guarantee.
Yeah.
Saber, do you always go health shard, defensive shard, or do you change it up usually?
No, I just only take it into AP matchup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the MR one like not as good? Does anyone take an MR shard?
Nah, I feel like
They're
HP is a lot better.
Full AP, I take it.
Yeah, full AP for sure, but I only pretty much consider the jungler for taking runes most of the time.
Does anyone have any closing thoughts of runes before we stop talking about runes? Anything we didn't cover? Okay, I guess not. That's fine. We can move on to evolutions, since that's also a heated topic people consistently ask about. In terms of first evolution, what you evolve at level 6, does anyone have any other options? Because I see most people do Q evolve first right now.
What are we doing? Hello.
Oh, wait.
Evolutions.
Is that Peyton? Is
Hello.
that RBM? Really big meme?
Hello.
Huge fan.
I'm here to give everyone knowledge. What is being discussed?
We just went over runes. We just went over runes, now we're on evolutions.
Okay, R evolve is the best.
True. Agree.
R, W, and then do E or Q based on comp. Because the only people that actually win on this character do that every game. So
Yep.
I just copy it. Just copy it. But it's really hard to change into. It's I was trying it and I just lost every single game in a row. So I don't even know how many games in a row I lost. 5 or something. And Diamond 1. And then I just went back to Q and I won every game, but it's definitely not better.
Sure.
So just go R and practice that and it's better.
Yeah,
if it's too late and you're fucked, then maybe start playing a new champ.
Okay.
I agree.
What do you usually run now, Ken? Same thing every game?
Yeah, I usually run Q evolve, in the old days, I played face rush with Q evolve because it was okay. You lose high damage because you don't go electro, but you evolve Q. So every 2 Qs you normally, if they're not tanky, And so with Q evolve you have the cooldown and the range. I think yes, that's why I go face rush because I need to follow up on that for another auto attack or something. It's hard to explain. You go stealth, but you want to do another auto attack, so you have to be at the enemy. But normally when you have no R evolve, you have not a lot of move speed, and with R evolve you have a lot of move speed, so you don't actually need face rush with that. So
True.
Yeah.
Just go R. It is just better. And do R with relentless, like Tanu does. Definitely better. There's no way it's not. And then the one guy goes conquer with presence of mind. I don't know. That's why it's good to not be a one trick. Because if you're not a one trick, you can theorize these better, and you're not over comfortable with the champ to where like you make mistakes because you're not used to the playstyle that you're adjusting to, right? So if you can't adjust, you just stick like Demir and you play the same way for 4 years in a row, and you never change regardless of what is actually better, or you learn to play the champ in every style.
And Demir gets like challenged every year.
But that's results oriented. It doesn't mean it's actually right. Like it doesn't mean it's actually good or right. It's like just because he can hit challenger with it doesn't mean like it's correct. It just means he's really good at it, and that our server is really bad.
What's your thoughts on what you're running for your evolutions right now?
I mean, it's fine if you run Arvold, but if you want a 1v1 or Rek'Sai or Olaf level 6, which you probably will end up, you're gonna die. So I always run Q Evolve, but again, it's a personal preference. So a lot of high elo players run R Evolve, and that's good.
For sure.
I do think that R Evolve is good into Olive as well, though.
Oh, I mean, you're gonna die.
It is.
Q is definitely better in Olaf.
Yeah, true, but you still have it's still not bad because you have enough time to reposition, and at the same time you can use your passive 3 times and just buy a lot of time just wasting like cooldowns and stuff while you're in your R.
Yeah, if you're going R Evolve, you're not looking to duels. You have to track the jungler better. That's it.
Yeah.
I want 1v1 people. I play Kha'Zix to kill people.
Yeah. If you have R, a lot of people say your biggest win conditions are through the lanes, getting lanes ahead, ganking, spamming.
Yeah, definitely not my playstyle.
Yes, exactly.
I play like a Grace. That's everything. Get all objectives. Win the game by 20 or lose. You know, classic.
I missed
that playstyle just like harder, more inconsistent. That's why the R Evolve is the best, right? And that's why the people that go R Evolve get higher elo. That's why like the R Evolve is better. But I still can't do it. I don't know. But I just don't play League, so.
Well, I think R Evolve is definitely better in higher elo because people really underestimate how long you're invisible and how fast.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
Guys, I can tell you why R Evolve is way better. Because, listen, in high elo, normally, like, if you are 1 second visible, you die, okay? And the thing is...
True.
Listen, the thing is, you press R normally, when you're evolved on R, okay? Then you go on the enemy, and then you can press R faster than you go normally with not evolved R. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, like...
Yeah.
The cooldown if you evolve R is kinda different. I can like press it really fast and I'm stealth again without like getting focused.
Yeah,
I hope you know what I mean. Like because you're 2 seconds in stealth, I know. Like if you don't evolve R, you need like 1 second more before you can go into stealth again. If you want to go stealth again. That's the problem on not evolving R, and you die very fast in high elo.
Yeah.
For sure.
But if you can't just do what works for you.
Yes.
I know Tingus is a large advocate for a variety of playstyles and evolution paths and routes. Did you have any thoughts on like if you should change it up at level 6 Q?
No, not really.
What do you think? Well, what's your opinion?
Nah, look. I really, really want to run R Evolve because it's fucking busted, to be honest. I've said that for the longest time. But sometimes you just really need Q because your team is so dog shit and you can't do anything by yourself when you don't have evolved Q. In a lot of situations because the fucking enemy team just collapses on you. 5-man and your team is off like jacking off in base, and like it's just kind of sad when you lack the damage needed to actually get picks and stuff. So Q Evo early is super nice against literally just anything to help you farm up and get a lead properly, but R Evolve is like absolutely superior if you can make use of it by like ganking lanes and through increased skirmishing power. So yeah, both are just super nice, and I just kind of switch it up depending on the game and what I need.
Do you think one takes a higher priority if you're behind? For example, like
Q.
people just
Well, no, it depends. Again, if you're playing more team oriented and you're behind, just go like R into W, and then if you're behind but still feel like you can carry, for example, against like squishy opponents, then you can still run Q and farm it up, and still do well. But I think the higher you go, R evolve definitely takes a priority for the most part.
Sure. We kind of covered the first evolution. You can always as well like do Q into R into Q. Like you can.
Oh yeah,
do
for
these
sure.
As well.
Yeah.
The second evolution is probably the most flexible in terms of what you can run.
Really, I feel like you're trolling if you don't go W.
W is too
Well,
good.
yeah, that too, because W is fucking retarded.
Yeah,
and you don't get a brain to use
be
that
banned
shit.
if you like. Yeah, like if you don't take W at 11, you should probably get banned. Unless you're
You
like
need-
ungodly fed, like, and you're just one behind.
Well,
in the
you
game.
could be so many levels up. You could take it to 6.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're just ungodly fed, like you don't have to go it, but it's like almost.
You only need one finger to use W evolve.
Yeah.
It's not hard at all. I mean, assuming you're using SmartCast, you just press your W key.
Yes,
like that.
and it's like infinitely more useful
Like
than
that.
all the other ones.
And then you just keep pressing it, and you
Like,
keep pressing it over and over and over, and then
Yeah,
you just win the game.
Yes, and you're just
Like-
10 times more useful than like having Ian jumping around and smiling. Like, look at me,
Yeah.
I'm jumping around. You contribute nothing to the entire game, and frown.
Don't you think that evolve is a good choice if you play Dark Harvest, for example, and you're
No,
Evolve-
W procs Dark Harvest better than E.
Evolve is a
I know,
good
it's
choice.
It's good, but it can be good at like 11 when you're ahead of the jungler and you're
Yes,
playing
if you're
squishies.
ungodly fed, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
Yeah, but it's about the resets.
Yeah, it's the reason. If the enemy team is squishy, you can just jump. If you have a good team that has
Regardless.
If they're squishy, you don't need the jump still though, because you're already going to be killing them all.
That's true, but you
play
have to
style.
make some clips, you know.
Regardless
Yeah,
of
exactly,
rules,
exactly. It's a shitty ult for clips. Like it's really bad. It's definitely bad. But like it's just not it's not really bad, but it's just not as consistent, you know. So you should just do what is most consistent, and if you can't do it, just stick to what works.
But the consensus is for W, you should always take it, but there's a little bit of debate on whether second or third.
Yeah, if you don't evolve W at any point in the game, you're just not trying to win, like at all. There's no way you're trying to win. Like you're just playing
If
for
you can
fun.
carry, don't evolve W.
No, like
If you
if
like the
it doesn't like the
evolve,
group, then you know
don't
he's
evolve W.
Evolve.
If you're split pushing, don't take W evolve. Actually, no, it's still better if you're split pushing because you.
That's
clear the-
better. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're way clear.
It's literally just better at everything. Like I don't know, it has to be better. Can I get the demo spat for the boys?
In terms of R evolve, are there situations where you just wouldn't evolve R in the whole game?
Yeah.
Not even at 16?
Nope.
I used to do that, but
Every single game, I evolve it.
Yep, same.
Even if I take QE at level 11.
Yeah, I don't know how
At
you're
that
gonna
point, I'm
play
probably
mid game
fed.
with an R.
Is there anyone here who doesn't actively like main R evolve in any form in their games? Who has an opinion?
Yeah,
I
I'm
do
more of a
QEW if I
W
go
evolve
QE.
player. Myself.
Okay. Sure.
I think it really fits my playstyle. I like pressing W.
Okay. So E evolve, the least viable, is definitely the consensus, but still good if you're ahead.
I disagree.
Okay. Why do you just
Same.
If you're fed and you can carry evolve, like simple as that.
yeah, if you're like 6 and
Which
0,
never happens in this meta, by the way.
Yeah, you're
It never
champ-
happens.
Like it's just the
Yeah,
worst
exactly.
champ in the game. Like
This Kha'Zix is dog shit.
Dog shit champ.
Dog shit.
That's a good consensus.
that's like that's what doesn't make any sense. Like the champ can't be dog shit if these like this guy's just rank 1 US like and he just mains it. Like I refuse to believe it's dog shit. We're just all shit.
Because he plays
That's my
Kha'Zix.
consensus.
He plays Kha'Zix like a meta jungler by taking Conqueror
Okay, so
and pressing W.
why would that not
over
be the
and
correct
over
way
and
to
over
play?
again.
Like
His
you're not-
entire playstyle is based on pressing W. You
yeah,
know
but
that, right?
like
Glacial
a movie
Walkman?
W
That is-
dispenser.
With W?
That is technically the most like consistent, right? Because obviously he's winning the most with it. So why would
It
he not
is.
winning
It is, but not everyone wants to play like that.
Yeah,
not
that's
everyone
the
wants to
thing.
be Hilo, I guess, for fun.
Do you want to sell out for,
If I would
W
sell out for
Evo and
1,300 LP.
or do you
yeah.
want to have fun?
I'd sell out for 1,300 LP. Fuck yeah.
Sure.
Just play Elise then.
All right, fair enough.
Play
Fair
Elise
enough.
and Rek'Sai.
I already do.
And Olaf.
Then Olaf play Rek'Sai.
Karthus, Zach.
Ooh.
Winga.
But it's like,
Rip Leeson.
like we can't say the champ is shit if we don't play the champ correctly. Or like the most optimal way.
No, that challenger guy goes inspiration second. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, how does it even work? Like,
You
he
go
goes
to lack-
inspiration with presence of mind. Like, it just can't be good, right? But he just wins every game. So like, it has to be good.
He doesn't win every game, but
Probably just
I mean,
knows.
he's like rank 2, so yeah, he's pretty good. I mean, a little better than me, maybe.
But the Tanu guy goes Dark Harvest.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like
Tanu
that's the
boy.
1v9 playstyle guy, but he still goes RW, right? So there's no way QE is ever good.
Sure.
This guy's even doing the more fun one shot playstyle, and he's doing it like this, and he's still 1k LP. But he does duo abuse a lot.
Sure. Does anyone have any closing thoughts on evolutions before we move off of it?
RWE or you're trolling.
Okay.
No, REW is also possible in my opinion, isn't it?
RW, yes.
Let's go back to the E. It's situational. I still believe even if your team is dog shit and you're like 2 kills ahead, 2-0,
I
like
agree.
level it, you can still level the E. I've done it like 5 times today, and I
I do it
just-
every game because I'm
Yeah, do it
fucking
every time.
stubborn.
it's good. It just has its situations where it's really good, and there's like some where it's bad because you don't do it in the 3 tanks. That's just inting.
Mhm.
Yeah, but usually like that the thing about E is that if E is good, you already can 1v9 the game without even taking E.
Yeah, E allows you to snowball better though.
Yeah,
If
you
the
can
enemy
just
team
put
doesn't
on
like to.
1v9s.
Yeah,
Mm.
situational.
Exactly.
Pixel, what do you usually evolve the same every game, or do you change it up, or what's your style?
Yeah, I always do QW.
Okay. Just your playstyle?
I mean, I just do what's meta, but I guess our evolve's apparently the meta.
Okay.
But I mean,
It's hard to get used to though. You have to practice it a few times because it's so weird. It's like you can't duel fucking anyone, but your ganks always work because you can start
the thing is, like,
river.
I'm a Kha'Zix main, but I don't like only play Kha'Zix. So like, if I want to play style that ganks lanes, then I'll play like not.
Sure. You could play Olaf or something.
Yeah, I'll play Zach or something.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm playing against a game where I don't need a gank because I'm confident or I just don't like my teammates, then I'm gonna end up going R evolve. I'm Q evolve. Play Kha'Zix.
Sure.
By the way,
I
if I
think
may
Kha'Zix
talk.
is a situational champion. I like never play Kha'Zix into like tanks, like Malzahar, something like that. Like I'll just pick a different champion.
Yeah. Oh, what's up, Light? Other Light?
If I may talk for a second, I like the fact how Kentokyo is literally playing his Diamond promos right now and also being in here.
Respectable.
Oh,
Unlucky.
It's okay. I'm winning.
See, Exos is streaming, but he's not playing. He's not gamer enough.
He's using all this
I'm
valuable
too scared.
knowledge in
I'm
this
too
Kha'Zix
scared to play
Seminar
Master
to win the
Players.
promos.
Understandable.
Learning and playing at the same time. Pog.
Do we play?
We can move on to some of the more state of the jungle questions and like more pathing. Does anyone think full clearing is still like a decent option, and when would you usually want to? Whoever wants to go first.
I think I almost full clear like every game because you can't win fights early because Kha'Zix is dog shit at level 3. Against most of the meta junglers, so
You guys want
unless
the
you have
dark-
priority or something, if you have like strong laners early, then you
give
could do
you
like
guys
a 3 camp clear. for the
Are you
most
ready?
part, and then you'll be
I'm
right.
ready for the pagan clear.
This is the most broken strat in the entire game for Kha'Zix, okay? Every game, you invade level 1, and you try to kill a ward. And you have to share the ward with only 3 people. If you share the ward with only 3 people, you'll get level 3 off of red Raptors blue. I'm not even trolling. It's actually so broken. Because then, every time, you can do 3 casts, and you're level 3 at 230. And you're actually healthy. So you can actually just gank top level 3 at like 240. It's super broken. Do that just invade every game. If you don't get the ward, you got the full clear and you're fucked. But if you get the ward, you just win the game.
Sure.
Can't you just do like a small wolf and then get level 3 as well?
Yeah, then you have to waste 7 seconds instead of getting the ward. If you get the ward, it's free.
Could also just do Grump, Blue Grump.
Yeah, but that's like
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah,
then you don't get to farm your good camps, and then you'll have to start machete. Starting machete sucks.
Zakilla, what's your clear right now? Do you have like a standard path you do every game, or what's that?
No, it depends on who my top laner is, who my bot lane is. Like if I have Ezreal Yumi bot, obviously I'm not gonna path bot because what is Ezreal Yumi gonna do?
True.
And like if I have like a Renekton top or something that can potentially dive and put a lot of push the wave and fucking basically just one shot the enemy top laner, because let's face it, Renekton's broken. Then I'll path top. Like I'll start blue and just path top. Vice versa, if I have like a Nautilus Lucian bot lane or something like that, and I have like something with that's not as good early game top lane, I'll just get a leash from top.
Do you still do like the 3 clear, short clear with like the Gromp instead of blue buff? Is that
Sometimes I do, but like it all depends on where your laners are and where their waves are. Like you have to just be you have to watch where their waves are, because if you do that and then you don't farm your wolves, you don't farm your raptors, and you're just sitting top or you're sitting bot in the tri-bush waiting, you just waste so much time when you could be farming. And like you want to hit 6 as fast as possible with Kha'Zix, because that's when you could actually invade and actually just like hard win the 1v1s in their jungle. It's a gamble. Honestly, it doesn't work most of the time. So I like full clearing. Honestly, like maybe like 60% of my games. And if my laners just lose, then it's whatever. At least I have farm, and at least I hit 6 as soon as possible. I mean, because the chances are, if you're there, like, what are the chances you even win the 2v2? Because everybody just plays Rek'Sai Lee Sin. Like, their champions are just so much better than Kha'Zix early game. So even if you are there, I feel like you still lose the 2v2, unless like your top laner or your mid laner just hard smurfs, or the enemy team misplays.
Does anyone have anything to add on to that?
Then what do you think about just padding always opposite to the enemy jungler, because you're going to be conceding Scuttle at level 3?
Yeah, you could do that for sure, and then just
if you split the map like that, then like they just get a free level 3 gank.
Yeah,
that's
the gamble you have to take.
I personally always like. I mean, if you full clear, you're like giving up level 1 to 3. And that means that your lanes are going to be pissed, because they're going to get ganked. And you, in my experience at least, I stayed hard stuck like Diamond when I fucking full cleared every game, because I realized, well, I lose every game by like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it is kind of a coin flip move, but
so I mean, and also I also realized that like taxing your lane and getting EXP from that and an assist is like 10 times better than taking 3 camps. Like,
yeah,
camp experience is just dog shit. Like,
for sure.
So like, I figured out that I would get level 6 like faster if I did dragon and taxed lanes than actually farming.
Yeah. Sure. Do you guys like usually change your path depending on like if you're purple side or red side? Do you have a set path, or is it just same as before situationally, depending on lanes?
Yeah, I always have to lane towards the lane that's gonna get ganked, or else I lose.
What is you guys' opinions on level 2 ganking as Kha'Zix? I have seen
Don't
many,
do
many
it.
people ask.
Do not.
I never do it.
No.
Don't do
If you fail, you lose.
Please just don't.
It's anything. That's
Don't
trolling.
do it.
Literally
don't do it.
trolling if you level 2 as Kha'Zix.
It's actually been trade. It's actually been trade.
Yeah, like there's a league ganking, and then your laner spam pings the shit out of you to just immediately be there at level 2.
You just say,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
just open
just
a chat
ignore
and you mute
When a
them.
J4 gets first blood level 2, you just FF.
Sure.
Just open chat, say wolf, and mute them, and just farm. That's how I do it.
True.
Okay.
I mean, realistically, there's nothing you can do about that. I mean, your laner just has to understand that he has Kha'Zix on his team.
Yeah, there's like laners do not understand.
People honestly think that Kha'Zix is just like this god early game jungler. It's actually crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why are you not doing anything?
He should be, right, though, because he's an assassin, surely.
And then when you like, I always try to like, if I get counter jungled like level 3, I like do a coin flip and invade their jungle. And if I die, then like the game's just over because I just got counter jungled. And they're level 4 and I'm level 2.
For sure. This is more of a matchup focused question, but do you guys consider Kha'Zix a good invader into a lot of the jungle matchups currently? Assuming
Depends.
Depends on the matchup.
Very heavily depends.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Elise, Olaf, or Lee Sin, just don't even bother, I think. Like, if you're gonna meet him, you're just dead.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I take electrocute. I always 1v1. I always invade.
Okay.
Get this man out of this. Get this man out.
Go for it.
Okay.
I think Lee Sin is the easiest of those, though, because
Alright,
you
so,
could.
yeah. Elise is like you never win.
Yeah, Elise is. Yeah, just never.
I won't invade it Elise unless I'm crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll always invade Elise and Rek'Sai.
We can move more onto some of the more like nuanced matchups. What do you guys think of the Wukong matchup currently? Is it a winnable matchup or hard or?
I haven't played against it yet, honestly.
I hear it's banned a lot.
Same.
Yeah, I never see it.
1v1
He's
wise,
firm, man.
I think he's actually alright for Kha'Zix. It takes a while for him to kill someone. It's just that he has so much utility now. He's a pain for other champions to deal with, but if you can get him isolated, I don't think he's too bad.
Yeah, I think if you're even
from my
gold
experience.
and he's isolated and you have like a few stacks on Ravenous Hunter, I think you could just heal him to death and there's nothing really he can do.
For sure. There's a new champion that I don't know if many people played against it yet, but Fiddlesticks. Do we have any?
That champion's so bad.
Let me tell you, I died solo to a Kha'Zix level 3 at Scuttle Fight, and that's why I knew Fiddlesticks is not a very good champion yet.
He's actually worse.
Yeah, is Fiddle worse as a jungler or just in general?
He's just
he has
really
no
bad.
The champion just shut.
He's just bad. He needs the buff. He's getting a buff.
He needs a few buffs. He needs the Yumi treatment.
He needs every ability to like get buffed. Oh, not
just make his
duration, but
just make his effigies stop isolation. That's the Yumi buff.
I will say that the effigies are pretty cool. Like in terms of, you get so much vision score.
Yeah, I think.
Wait, does anyone even know if they do stop isolation?
I'm not sure.
They stop isolation when they're activated. So
Yeah, pretty sure
when
they
he
do.
so if he places it on top of himself in a fight, it'll activate and cancel isolation for a few seconds. However, it will then run away and disappear. So it's a short isolation cancel. If you're far away though from it, it will not. There's no champion within the activation range.
Well, I'm perma-banning Fiddles now. Thank you.
I don't actually think it matters that much.
Glad
It's
to
such
help.
a small.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Have you played Fiddle yet, Mark? You're a variety jungle main.
No, every time I play, Nick's been wanting to play jungle, so I haven't played jungle in like a week. Because Nick wants to play Fiddlesticks.
I've played Fiddlesticks.
Do you like it?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I could see potential if they literally buff every ability. Like, his Q needs to do max HP damage, not current. Like, it does nothing.
Yeah, definitely the numbers. His kit at least seems interesting.
It's like there's just no counter when it's good, and it's just terrible when it's bad. No,
Like
he has no like skill shot.
Hmm.
It's like old Wukong. Like, well, what's the counterplay for that? Like, you just stealths and ghost blades, and you die, or you live.
Mm-hmm. We can move to like more of the popular matchups. For Olaf, what do you guys think about how to play around Olaf matchup?
You
He's
get
easier
in a
to-
corner and you cry for about 25 minutes until your team.
Yeah, just avoid him early. I mean, if he finds you early, he's literally just gonna run you down. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Unless you have flash, but then if he has flash, you're just dead anyway.
Just give everything up if he invades. Just go to his side maybe. But don't fight him before 6 at least. Unless he's really low. You can one shot. Because you play Dark Harvest and a real man.
For sure.
The enemy team has Olaf Yumi, just dodge the game.
If there's a Yumi, just dodge.
Question. What are your guys' bans when you play Kha'Zix? I personally always ban Elise.
Yeah, same.
It's a good question.
I perma ban Lee Sin.
I just
used
ban
to
Ornn
play
because
Lee Sin as
honestly,
well.
I'd rather fight against a bad jungle matchup than have to ever see that champion.
Okay.
Post nerfs.
How do you guys feel about Zac ban now?
Zach.
This is pretty oppressive.
It's a good ban, yeah. It's definitely
He's
a
really
good ban.
popular right now. His pick
Yeah.
rate's pretty up there.
I personally swapped my ban from Lee Sin to Zac just because there's so many Zac players that just perma spam gank, and it's over by the point where I can like normally gank.
I just perma ban Lee because I never want to see that champion ever again.
It's so disgusting.
Yeah. What do you guys think is like the answer to Zac besides banning it if it goes through? Just build armor pen
Or by executioners.
It's really the only thing you really can do, and just I don't know, just try to track him as best you can. But even if you do track him, I feel like laners still die because they underestimate his E range. So I don't know,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
There's never vision on
And-
Zac.
and
What about for Elise? Do you think she's like the hardest matchup for Kha'Zix, or does it vary?
I think it's personal. Depends if you hate Lee Sin, for example. Lee Sin can be really hated as well.
I
I
hate
think
Lee
Elise
Sin
is
and
not
Elise.
as bad as.
I feel
other
like Elise is worse.
I'll just say,
I think Olaf is worse.
remove isolation.
I think Elise is by far the worst in terms of
I mean, like,
jungle.
you can still dodge the fucking stun from Elise and still kill her, but what are you gonna do against Olaf just running you down?
Like you get almost like
evolve, kill him.
Yeah.
The thing is, with Elise, it's more of a macro matchup. It's not about like, oh, can you fight her or not. It's just will she be able to kill your laners? That's like the thing with
also-
Elise.
and the counter ganks.
I think if you play like against Elise and you track her pathing, if you can catch her like unaware, like while she's moving up to a gank, you can pretty much burst her hard because she's pretty squishy as well. Like Jin just said, it's pretty much macro in my opinion as well.
True. Saber, do you think it's worth to itemize against Elise like a T-Mat or MR? Or how would
Just
you
get
play
merch
the Elise?
shots. Just get merch shots and that's it.
That's fair.
Unless they have like multiple APs, then the Hex Drinker is not bad.
Another matchup that people struggle with is Echo still. Do you guys still see a decent amount of Echoes in your games?
I do not.
I do not.
I think
No.
Echo's.
There's less people playing it.
I don't think Echo's that bad. Like into Kha'Zix, like I think it's a doable matchup. It's not like.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if
Yeah, Echo's alright.
Post nerfs, yeah, it's not bad.
I really love Phase Rush into Echo.
Yeah, it's
Personally.
really
Yep.
good. I tried it.
Damn. Does buying healing reduction mitigate his ult healing? Is that a viable option?
I don't think.
I don't think it's really that relevant.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least it's not worth buying it for him.
Yeah,
yeah, unless they have more healing, it's definitely not worth.
Yeah.
for sure. Do we have any matchups that we haven't gone over that someone wants to briefly touch on?
Yeah, I have a matchup. Champ select. Can I stop getting like Fiora top lanes while the enemy has like a Malphite or some shit?
How do we get you to winner
Or a
lobbies?
set top? Yeah, when do we get winning lobbies?
Okay.
Never.
Unlucky.
Yeah, you're playing the wrong game.
No, you're right.
Next
What do you guys
account.
think is, the easiest matchup for Ka is like, what do you guys think?
Fiddlesticks.
Besides Fiddle, he's the easiest for every matchup.
Twitch.
Kane's pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
Yeah,
everything that's
Kane's
easy for
really
Kha'Zix
easy.
is easy for everyone.
What
Like,
is the easiest well, yes.
I feel like, yeah, literally everything that I can think of is just easy for everyone. Like Evelyn, Kane, they just all sucker the game so much that it doesn't matter what you play. You can play Jhin and still beat them early.
The few champs that have a worse early game than Kha'Zix.
Yeah. Fair enough. We can move more on to some itemization. For core items, does anyone disagree with Warrior and Dustblade being like the go-to every game?
Me.
No.
I mean, if you go Conk, isn't it you go Cleaver first, or?
Depends.
I always run Cleaver.
Yeah, Cleaver is good with Conk.
It's not that Warrior Dusk is bad with Conk, but Cleaver is generally
Yeah, but
really
if we
good.
look at top players again, a lot of them just run like Black Cleaver.
Dustblade got nerfed hard, so I don't go it anymore.
Is it nerfed?
It feels kind of bad. Like you don't get the wards anymore. Normally you only get like.
You can still see if you're spotted though.
Yeah, you can still abuse the passive.
Yeah,
And
you
then
still know that you're spotted. So if you take Sweeper, which is on like fucking less than a minute cooldown, and you see the Dustblade passive go away, you're like, oh, I can sweep. It's the same thing.
Yeah, just you have to like sweep it now.
Yeah, so it's really irrelevant. I feel like they should take out part where it's like, hey, you're seeing I don't know if that should be like on your buff bar that you're being spotted pretty much, but I don't know.
Sure. If you're not running Conquer, is Cleaver still a good buy option? Like earlier on?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure,
Cleaver
especially
is-
on Face Rush.
Cleaver is like the best item on Kha'Zix. It has been for several seasons. Since like season 4, it's been the best item.
And you can still do Dustblade and Cleaver in the same build, of course, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
If you're not playing Congo, I would say that Dustblade is the best first item after Warriors, I would say. And then maybe go Cleaver next. That's possible as well. But I personally built Cleaver like one of my last items if I have to.
I do have another question about some of the lethality items, like later on in the build and closing out the build. We can go person by person and rank some of the lethality items, like best to worst. We can start with Tinges. What would you like? How would you rank Dustblade, Ghostblade, Sanguine, Edge of Night, and Umbral?
how would I rank it? You mean
Yeah,
like
best to worst.
best to worst?
In terms of like damage or like
Just overall, like how good its item is, efficiency and gold.
okay.
Well, because it has attack speed, Sanguine Blade first now. I think, to be honest, Edge of Night is probably the best lethality item. In terms of sheer usefulness, because that thing is like, it just makes you so much more safe when you're going in. So yeah, I do think it's probably like the best. And then second, I'd say Duskblade. Probably Ghostblade after. And then Umbral, Sanguine Blade. I never really buy Umbral. Just because I prefer the value of other items. But
Do you think it's not worth it, even though it's really, really cheap?
no, it's good. I just personally don't use it.
Okay.
It's like sometimes I do buy it for vision control. When I'm being spotted a lot. When I can't get picks, and so like I buy a quick Umbral and then just go sweeping.
So, Exos, what is your lethality tier list?
I think it also it kind of depends on what time in the game you are, I think. But I would always like put Duskblade first, and I would, depending on like how the game goes, either Ghostblade or Edge of Night. I would personally never buy Sanguine because, yeah, if you 1v1 against someone, you usually win with Conk as well. But I don't think Sanguine is that relevant because after like you won't take it as any of the first items, and if you don't take it as any of the first items, you'll probably be like playing team fights, and then the item is just dead.
If it had CDR, I'd take it more, but it doesn't have CDR, and that's kind of kind of a game changer.
And like Umbo Glaive, I usually skip it because the Duskblade passive shows me if I'm on a ward or not. I just sweep it, so I think it's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah. Does anyone purchase Umbral a decent amount, or like has it in their range of items? Does anyone buy it? Umbral Glaive? No. Unlucky.
Maybe on Kha'Zix support.
Sure. Zakilla, what is your tier list? Is it more or less the same, or do you have any?
I think it's personally, I'd say Duskblade, and then Edge of Night, Yumu's Umbral, and Sanguine. Does anyone even build Sanguine? Like any champ in the game?
Kalista top sometimes.
Kalista top.
Yeah, I think that's the only one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nocturne.
Oh yeah, Nocturne. I can see it being an item on. Yeah.
The only time I get Sanguine is if I'm majorly fed and don't need Edge of Night, and I'm just trying to close out the game. That's it. That's the only reason.
Wouldn't you like prefer like Last Whisper upgrade over like Sanguine?
This is generally after you have Last Whisper, by the way. So
okay.
it would be like last item. Yeah.
I like Edge of Night a lot because it doesn't give CDR, right? So like you could go Warrior, Duskblade, Cleaver, and then get Edge of Night. So I think that's pretty good. It gives you a shit ton of HP with Cleaver and Edge of Night. And also gives some lethality. So like if let's say the enemy team isn't like really that tanky, so you could go like a second lethality item with Cleaver, I think it's pretty good. I mean, the spell shield is just really valuable in team fights too.
Sure. Pixel, did you have a ranking for your lethality items?
Yeah, I'd say Duskblade, just because ultimate, you proc it 3 times if you're stealthed in the very beginning, out of sight. But I usually don't buy lethality items.
That's fair. Saber, what do you think about your lethality items ranking?
It's similar. It's pretty much the same as everybody else said.
Okay. Where would you guys place some of the Last Whisper items in your build? Do you think it's always good to do it third onward, or can you get it like after Duskblade?
Depends on enemy team. If you're full AD and enemy goes armor, you can buy it after Duskblade as well.
I think the most consistent choice for a Last Whisper item is probably after Warrior Dusk and whatever item you go after that. So like Warrior Dusk Ghost and then LDR.
I think it's impossible to say this is when you should build it because you should. I think Last Whisper should be a reactive item.
It is. It's just like
a proactive
generally
item.
The most like consistent time you'd build it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's of course. Like, but I don't. I think the question just can lead people down the wrong path, thinking that you have to build Last Whisper when it should always be a reactive item. If they start building armor, then that's when you're like, okay, well, after my next item is done, I need to build a Last Whisper.
Do you think it's a complementary item with lethality? Like, is it something you only want to build if you already have lethality, or?
Not necessarily, but it adds up nicely with lethality, especially in Blade of Harvest, for example.
What were you gonna say, Tinjas?
I was just gonna say, like, you usually end up building it every game because they do, in fact, end up building armor. And plus, the longer the game goes, the higher level people are, the more armor they have. So it helps with that too, with the base armor. And it definitely complements like an assassin build very well. So I don't know. I just find myself. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, if by bruiser you mean just cleaver, then
yeah,
for sure.
Okay. Has anyone tried the new Dust Down since last patch that got buffed? Or have any like stronger opinions on it, if it's good or not? Because it builds differently now as well. It's like max resist and lifesteal and CDR. Or is there CDR still?
Yeah, there's still CDR. It's Warhammer plus Aegis plus Vamp Scepter instead of Pickaxe.
Is it still like a tier 1 item on Kha'Zix? What do you think, Tingus?
Wait, what is?
Is Death Dance
Tier 1? Has it always been Tier 1?
I don't know. I'm asking. I'm not sure.
I think it's
I never really built
fuck.
it. I haven't found a single scenario where I've wanted Death Dance. Mostly because I go assassin builds, but I think it's definitely good. Mostly in bruiser builds. Good with Conqueror, obviously, has good synergy. But I'm not sure where you'd slot it into a build. Probably be like 5th item. 5th or 4th item.
For sure. Zakilla, what's your like go-to build right now? Do you have like a build that you favor?
I mean, the last like 3 items I think are very situational, but I think Duskblade into Cleaver is probably what I do the most. Sometimes I'll go the Edge of Night after Cleaver. Sometimes I'll go GA. I think it really just depends on team comp. Like the enemy team comp.
Yeah.
Because if they have like a shit ton of armor, then obviously you need to go LDR after Cleaver.
Do you guys think things like Maw and GA are still can slot into any Kha'Zix build?
The GA is fine.
Ma's good. Maw's good.
People say even though Stopwatch got nerfed to be more gold, it's still like a really nice spike or a really nice buy as well. So yeah, did anyone have any other item related questions or like topics that we wanted to go over?
How is Spirit Visage on Kha'Zix? What do you think?
Spear Visage.
Yes.
That is bold.
1v9 move.
Okay. I could see it maybe.
Go do it this game, you have Death Dance.
You know Daniel's way of saying you're trolling?
Just take more Death Dance because the scaling your abilities. OP. Q.
Yeah, it has such good synergy. Death Dance and Maw.
If Maw push, you get more damage.
I will try.
I think.
Yeah, I think we're good on itemization. We can move on to some of the general Q&A questions that people have been asking in Kha'Zix discussion and kind of close out the seminar. The most common ones, since we'll start with 2 ones that are like the most asked already. How would you play into tank comps and how do you deal with tank heavy?
Just dodge.
Comps.
True.
Dodge.
True.
All that for. Yeah.
You literally just have to dodge.
Okay.
There's no other alternative.
It's unplayable.
2 to 3 tanks. You're forced to play the game. What would be your priorities for that game?
Black Cleaver into Last Whisper.
How would you
W
play like,
Evolve,
around team
Cleaver.
fights?
Right, you just play like you would usually do and hope you like out farm the guy, just like destroy him. Like carry that into objective control.
I guess you can try to split push and then try to drag the focus onto you. Be like a Trendemir playstyle, I don't know. If you cannot teamfight at all.
That's pretty difficult. Also depends on what tanks.
Depends on like the tank champion, yeah.
If you're playing against like Scion, well, like not a big deal, but
if you're like against Sage.
if it's like Malphite, yeah, well, you're not doing a lot to it.
It's not fun.
Another question people asked was, what do I do if I can't close out games one ahead? Very, very common question. Whoever wants to answer on that.
You're not using your lead enough.
Here's what you do. You go into the top lane, you get the little purple dude that spawns at 10 minutes, and you run into a lane. It doesn't matter what the lane sit is, and you press your trinket button, and then what are they going to do? If they fight you, they lose. Like, you just run into a lane, and you just fight them, because you will beat them. This goes for pretty much any champion. If you have a lead, the only way you keep your lead is by shoving it down their throat. So run into a lane and just fight them, because they either are forced to give up turrets and you just continue your lead, or they try to fight you, and because you're ahead, you should be winning.
And you basically auto win game when you get soul. So if you're actually ahead, just get all 4 dragons within like 25.
For sure. To add on to that as like a side question, how big of a priority is Dragon and Drakes for Kha'Zix?
Huge.
Drakes are really important.
He's
I
like
think with
one of the
Duo, he
best,
takes them so easily.
he's like one of the best solo like dragon killers. So that's like the only thing he's got going for him on.
I will also say that every Drake soul is really good on Kha'Zix.
Exactly.
True.
So playing R Evolve, you get Cloud Soul, you can just turbo to the squishies. If you get Ocean, you can just sustain as long as you want. If you're not speaks for itself.
Follow up to that is, people say like if you have Q Evolve, Dragon's like really disgustingly easy. But if you don't go Q at 6, and you go like R Evolve at 6 or whatever, is it still a decent option to go?
It's still really good, yeah.
It's still decent. You sustain enough, I think, and especially if your laners come out there afterwards, you should be fine. When you have jungle item, you don't really need the CDR in your Q, I think. You're still healthy enough after clearing it, and you still clear it like decently fast.
For sure. Someone says, what do I do if I'm behind versus the enemy jungler on Kha'Zix?
You
play off your winning lanes. Yeah, we're surrender.
Okay.
Yeah, people don't like. I don't know. I don't really know why people wonder about how to play from behind, because you shouldn't be behind with Kha in the first place. You should be focusing on how to keep yourself ahead rather than what happens when you fall behind. Because when you're behind, you're fucked. Like, it's hard to come back unless you get piggybacked by your team. If you don't have a team, then and you're behind, it's just like, what are you gonna do?
Sure.
So start focusing on like more ways to get yourself ahead and stay ahead, rather than just, oh, I'm behind. What do I do? Alright, here's what you do when you're behind. You evolve W. You press W. Constantly. That's it. That's how you play when you're behind.
Yeah, I know how to do that.
We also have our most special guest, who's here 1 hour and 30 minutes late. Hello, Demir. What do you think you should do when you're behind on Kha'Zix?
Quit and play Tarkov, right? Mind reading.
Demir, when was the last time that you played Kha'Zix? If he's here. He's here. I think that answer speaks for itself.
Yeah. He's trying to hear footsteps.
He doesn't know he's muted, maybe. Yeah, he's hearing for footsteps on Tarkov. Okay, we'll go back to Demir, I guess.
He said FF.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Someone asked about the Master E mashup.
I think that's pretty easy, no?
Unless he's being funneled,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with him.
Because Blade the
Yeah.
Rune King got buffed last patch pretty heavily, so it's a lot better on him now.
He shouldn't even be able to hit you. Like,
Yeah.
you just stealth his orders.
Sure.
I think it's just one of the easiest matchups. Right, well, not one of the easiest, but he's pretty easy. He does nothing early game. Like, your champ is more useful than Master Yi early game. Think about that. Kha'Zix more useful than a champ early game.
That's special.
That's crazy.
Someone asked about the Warwick matchup. Do people see Warwick nowadays anyway? Or what did you guys' thoughts on Warwick matchup?
I haven't seen a Warwick jungle in a very long time.
If you're really struggling, I think building executioners after your jungle item is a really good option to counter Warwick.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
Do
then
you
he's
think Q is a higher priority in the Warwick matchup, or what do you think?
I'd say yes, because I see him kind of like Olaf a little bit, where he can just heal a shit ton and just bash you to death with his autos. So on top of that, he actually has hard CC, so I think he's a little harder than Olaf for sure.
Hmm. Rengar versus Kha'Zix. People like this question a lot as well.
If he gets ahead, it's just doomed. Like, there's nothing you can do the whole game if he gets ahead.
What I always say is that Rengar wins the 1v1s, and as Kha'Zix, you still have a chance to do the team fights better because you're more multi-target than Rengar. He just one-shot somebody and walks out. Or if he gets the bushes, he just pentakills you and just connects. That's like kind of what happens.
Sure.
I mean, I think Rengar's pretty easy. Like, if he makes a mistake and he dies early, like, to you just get executioners and red smite, and there's nothing you can do.
You can actually invade Rengar if he's not in the bush. You have to take care, yes. Because he gets like 4 stacks when he's in the bush, and he always presses like W twice most. Like, but if you like hit him when he's not in the bush, you kill him easy.
For sure.
The thing is, just people don't respect Rengar early game, and they just die, and he always gets ahead. So
Oh, that's not good. Yes.
he just one
If you
shots.
let him snowball, the game's over. You're genuinely powerless if he gets ahead.
Yeah.
Fair. Let's see. Did anyone else have? Okay, we have one. We have Sejuani and Tank CC matchups. What is you guys' thoughts?
Dodge.
I think, yeah. Like, let's say instead of having the question be what to do in the tanky comps, what if it's just a tank jungler? Like a Sejuani or Zac, and that's the only tank.
Go Conqueror. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, Sejuani is just too tanky. Like, there's no way. Like, by the time you can kill her, her team's gonna be there. So, like, I don't know. It's just hard because you just can't burst her by the time her team gets there.
If it's a good Sejuani, she can just chain you up in CC at level 6 and just do the one-shot combo. If as long as you don't have red smite up though. Like the damage on the tanky champions are pretty busted at the moment.
For sure. Since we're not getting too many more questions, we can close off with like a final question. Just going one by one. What do you, since the general consensus of Kha'Zix is a bit weak right now, what would you guys personally change to make Kha'Zix better? And we can start with X's.
Actually,
to make Khan more viable. We can come back if you don't have one.
Yeah, just come back in a sec, please.
Okay, Ken, are you there, gamer?
Yes, I'm here. Do you can you hear me?
Yeah, you're here. What would you
I
change to Ka?
The biggest problem was that, like, if you gank and you fail gank, and that's the problem, you go back to farming, you get like invaded. So yeah, I think you have to farm a bit more. But all in all, I say if they increase the XP of the camps, it makes them a bit stronger. So the comeback XP, I mean, because sometimes you get like really fucked up. That's what happens to me, and that's the only problem I have right now on Kha'Zix.
Mm-hmm.
So the levels are sometimes like I'm 3 levels under an opponent on a lane, so I can't kill him.
Mm-hmm. Zakilla, what is your thoughts on the state of Ka and what could be done to make him a little better right now?
He's pretty bad.
Okay.
They should do something to him. I don't know. They could do a lot of things with Kha'Zix. They could put monster damage on his W to help him clear faster early games, so he could actually farm fast. They could reduce isolation range by like 50, so make it easier for him to actually get isolated Qs off in team fights. They could just buff the numbers on his Q, stuff like that. And if people are gonna complain about it, honestly, they should just nerf fucking W evolve, like reduce the slow on it, and that just like adjust him like that. But yeah, that's what I think they should do.
That is fair. Pixel, what is your thoughts on Kha'Zix and what you would make improvements to change him to be better? Oh, welcome back. Pixel, are you there, gamer?
Guys, the problem is if they buff Kha'Zix, everyone bans it or picks it. So I don't want buffs on.
We just want nerf for the other champions.
Yes, nerf Kha'Zix, please. No,
Nerf tanks.
He's not getting picked a lot, so it's okay.
I think just the biggest buff to Kha'Zix at the moment is just to stop Yumi from cancelling isolation.
True.
So
Yumi is so annoying, yeah.
Yep.
I want to ban Elise, but I can't ban you.
You're all terrible.
Ouch.
Okay. Anyway, Saber, what is your closing thoughts on state of Kha'Zix and what you do to make him better?
I just spam Elise.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay. Nice. Tingus, you have the open floor. What changes would you make to Kha'Zix?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's just I don't know. Bring back the percentage health on Q. Yeah.
The perma stealth, R-Evolve.
Yeah, fuck
I'm gonna stop you right there, friend.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Okay.
I would switch his passive damage back to magic damage. No, sorry, AP scaling. Sorry, to balance him out a little more. And I would bring back the bonus damage on W against monsters to help his early game a little bit more. Because I think he's in a decent spot. It's just the meta is not favoring him right now. I would like to see like those old changes come back.
Pixel, are you back? He's not here. Okay, we will give Demir the final word of the entire seminar. What do you think about Kha'Zix right now, Demir?
As an EOP.
Oh boy, that's how you know he's gone. He's gone.
You guys just suck.
Are you playing Kha'Zix currently?
I played it 2 months ago.
There's your answer, boys. There's your answer.
Okay. Thank you everyone for stopping by. It was very enjoyable seminar. The VOD will be up on the YouTube in like a couple weeks for anyone who's here or didn't catch the whole thing. But yeah, thank you guys for your time.
No problem. No
people.
No problem.